Liberation Day is upon us, and to be quite frank, that kind of sounds like something straight out of the Fallout TV series or the game. But the final tariffs, for now, have been finally rolled out and revealed. And boy, is there a lot that we need to cover. So let's find out what's going on. Let's find out what the new tariffs are, how it can affect us, and most importantly, what we can do to stay prepared just in case any curveballs get thrown our way, just to make sure that we can stay profitable throughout the entire time. Because from the looks of it, Chinese products, they might not be cutting it anymore, but we'll dive deeper in a second. Oh, and of course, one more thing, how can we forget? The de minimis exception. What's going on with that? The saving grace for dropshippers. Let's go ahead and find out. So what's going on? Well, officially, the new tariffs have been rolled out from the White House, and Donald Trump stood in front of the Rose Garden with a huge sign that laid out every single tariff that was going to be imposed. Now, he said that they were going to be effective immediately, pretty much from one day to the next, so from April 2nd to April 3rd, or April 3rd at midnight. Now, the White House website does say that they actually take place on April 5th at 12:01 a.m. So I would suggest just start getting ready now. Now, these new tariffs are going to be called the Reciprocal Tariffs. Pretty much meaning what you do to me, I'll do to you. You charge us this much, we'll charge you the exact same right back. Kind of.
Very simple. Can't get any simpler than that.
So overall, what really affects us in terms of the new tariffs that were announced are going to be the following. So to start, there's pretty much a 10% baseline for these new tariffs. And what that means is that there's essentially going to be a 10% tariff down the board. So anyone who imports anything to the US over $800 at the moment is going to be charged a minimum of a 10% tariff. Now, surprisingly, Mexico and Canada, they weren't announced or they weren't listed. But besides that, the UK is getting hit with 10%. Pakistan, where I've actually noticed that a lot of people have suppliers in, is going to be getting hit with 29%. Bangladesh, which some people have some suppliers there, not too many, but it's still worth mentioning. Bangladesh will be getting hit with a 37%. And finally, the one we've all been waiting for, China. China is officially going to be getting hit with a 34% tariff. So how is this going to affect you as a dropshipper? Now, the very first thing that I do need to make clear is that, remember, it's not just going to be affecting you. It's literally going to be affecting absolutely everybody. Whether you're a dropshipper or a big corporation, these tariffs are going to hit everybody. So don't feel left out. Don't feel singled out. This is something that everyone is going to have to deal with. You just need to, like I always say, adapt. So to start, higher prices for pretty much anything that's being imported into the US over $800. Remember, the de minimis exception currently is still in effect. It's an exception that's currently still working in our favor, but I'll get into that a little bit more a little bit later on. So for now, shipments over $800 that are being imported into the US are going to be incurring these new tariffs. Now, the reason that this is important, even though most of us aren't importing anything that's over $800, is because a lot of our Chinese they actually have shipments coming into the US all the time that are over $800. A lot of Chinese suppliers have warehouses in the US, warehouses that are supplied with products from overseas. So those shipments that come in to fill up those warehouses, they're always over $800. Now, what about the de minimis exception, the saving grace for all dropshippers? Well, that actually was not mentioned, at least not in the speech, but it is mentioned in the White House website. Now, the moment that Donald Trump started talking about the tariffs, the White House also came out with their website that's going to lay everything out for you. And I got curious because I wasn't hearing anything about him talking about the de minimis exception. So after jumping on and taking a look at the website, I found this right here. Now, if you want to read it, by all means, I will have it over here so that way you can check out exactly what it says. But in short, pretty much what it's saying is that the de minimis exception is still here. It's still in effect, and we still have the ability to be able to import products from China without any extra duties or any extra tariffs or anything. Now, this is only going to be temporary until the White House can officially have a system in place to be able to properly process and collect duty revenue. Hey everybody, Future Mario here. Now, after the recording of this video, news broke out that the de minimis exception actually was just stripped. So just so you know, the de minimis exception is no longer in effect, but make sure you continue watching this video all the way through because everything that I'm going to be telling you is still relevant. All right, with that, let's go ahead and continue. So pretty much until they have a system in place that's going to be able to really just collect all of the extra money or the extra taxes or tariffs or duties, then we're good. But again, this is only temporary. Now, also looking through a few sources online, I actually found through Yahoo that sources have been saying that they already have the system in place. It's ready to go. They just haven't rolled it out yet or really mentioned anything of it. But sources do say that the administration did already figure out a way to do this. So the de minimis exception is going to be stripped. Again, this isn't something that's going to be happening immediately. It's not going to happen right now, but we do need to prepare. And I am going to be giving you a few different ways to be able to prepare for this, so just make sure you stick around a little bit longer. Now, honestly, it does make sense that it is going to eventually be stripped, because at the beginning, they did say that it's going to temporarily be reinstated. It wasn't something that was meant to stick around any longer. They stripped it once, didn't really work out, so they re-implemented it temporarily in order to get the systems in place. And now that they have it, it's only a matter of time before it's gone again. Now, the thing with these tariffs is that it's kind of unclear at the moment because nobody's really said anything about it on how they're going to be paid or who's going to be paying them. There were a few ideas floating around that I was reading that Chinese suppliers are going to take half of the hit, but again, it's still kind of unclear. So make sure you stay vigilant and you keep your ears and eyes open, and also make sure to subscribe and like this video so that way you never miss out on anything new that's coming out in the dropshipping or e-commerce world. So what can we do and how can we prepare for this? Well, for one, again, it's important to note that we don't need to panic. We don't need to start freaking out. Everything right now is okay. Everything is still running as normal, but we do need to start preparing little by little. And again, it's always good to keep staying vigilant. Now, when it comes time for the de minimis exception to be finally revoked, in this case, that's when we really do need to stay a little bit more vigilant, and we might have to increase our prices even more than that. At that point, we might have to increase up to 34%. Now, the next thing that we need to do, or that we can do that will really help us out, is start implementing high ticket sales into our stores. If we start implementing higher ticket products, we're going to be making higher profits, which in turn, it actually helps us not feel the extra added cost as much if we're the ones that end up paying for it. So higher ticket products equal higher ticket sales, which equal higher profits, which ultimately will help us kind of offset or at least feel less these extra tariffs or these extra taxes. Now, I'm not saying that you should get rid of your lower ticket products because realistically speaking, that's what most consumers are going to be purchasing. But it is a good idea to start implementing or to start adding some higher ticket products to your stores. Again, don't get rid of any low ticket products because for the most part, that is going to be a lot of people's bread and butter, but start to implement higher ticket products. So that way the lower ticket products can kind of serve also as a type of add-on when people purchase the higher ones. So we don't need to change our entire business model just because of what's going on. Remember, what we need to do is learn to adapt. Now, one of the things that we can really start to implement right now that'll help us stay vigilant and be prepared and essentially ahead of the game, ahead of everybody else, is to start looking for new suppliers, start looking for more sources for suppliers, and stay vigilant with our suppliers' prices. And I know this is a lot easier said than done because some of us have multiple suppliers. So it's hard for us to really be looking at every single supplier every single day to make sure that their prices haven't gone up. But there's actually a couple of workarounds for this, some that are very efficient that can really help us stay ahead of the game. And the first one is going to be using the sourcing feature from AutoDS. Now, with AutoDS, you have access to tons of different suppliers, both regular suppliers and private suppliers. Now, the cool thing about these is that some of them even ship directly from the US. Some of them are even manufactured in the US. Let me show you. So under the AutoDS marketplace, we can go ahead and check out the different suppliers here. So we can see supplier, and we can change it to AutoDS suppliers. Now ships to the United States, and then we can also change these ships from. So we can do ships from United States, and then we'll be able to see all of the different products that ship from the US to the US. Now, some of these are going to be manufactured here. Some of these will be manufactured outside of the US, but ultimately they are all located in the US. Now, besides these suppliers, we also have what I was talking about earlier, which is the sourcing requests. Now, with sourcing requests, this is actually something that's very, very efficient because it helps you find brand new suppliers with even better prices. Now, granted, this does only work with Chinese suppliers, but you get an entire list of different suppliers that all sell the exact same product at different prices, some of them shipping from different locations, some of them even having some faster shipping times. Now, to check this out, all you have to do is go to your orders. So as you can see here, I have a few orders that came into my store a bit ago, and I have this little option that says sourcing request. So all I have to do is click on this, and then it'll take me to this page where all I have to do is click that one button, and then it'll switch over to in progress. This means that the system is now looking for a different supplier or multiple different suppliers that offer this same exact product. Now, this is just one example, but this is a product that I submitted a sourcing request for, and this is one of the suppliers that was recommended. So it gives me a different item cost. So it's actually cheaper than the one that I was originally sourcing. It also gives me a different shipping price, and it gives me a few different variations along with the different shipping times and where it's shipping from. Now, again, most of these products are still going to be shipping from China, but you're going to have a lot more options to choose from. You're going to find some suppliers that are sourcing your product for a lot cheaper, which in turn, if you sell it at the same price, you'll be able to pretty much offset the new tariffs. Now, another thing that we can do to help us stay ahead of the game is going to be to implement price monitoring into our stores. Simply what this is going to help us do is The moment that our suppliers increase their prices, whether it be from one day to the other or gradually, the system is going to pick up on this and it's going to help us do the same. So if our suppliers increase their prices by 10% or 5%, then we can set our prices to increase by the same exact amount or a little bit more or a little bit less. It's really all up to you. This way, no matter what our suppliers' prices are, we're always going to be in the profit zone. Remember, we never want to be selling products that aren't going to be making us a profit because then we're going to be losing money. And the price monitoring feature from AutoDS is going to help us do just that. So ultimately, in my opinion, this is all going to pass. This is all essentially going to be part of the new normal, at least for now, because realistically speaking, so many things have been changing so fast that we don't know what's going to happen 2-3 months from now. Everything could completely change. But for now, this is a plan. This looks like what's going to be going on for the next couple of years. So again, what we need to do is just stay vigilant and make sure that we adapt. Because if we don't adapt, we're going to be left behind, and ultimately we can end up losing our entire business. And we don't want to do that. Every single business that's successful has been able to adapt. So you always need to make sure that you stay vigilant and you stay aware of all of these new policies that are happening. These new prices that are going to be happening, while they're still high, again, they're eventually going to become essentially the new normal for people. People are going to get used to it. They're all going to be attributed to different factors, again, such as inflation, new tariffs, new policies, etc. A lot of these different things. And ultimately, consumers, they're eventually going to get over it. They're eventually going to see it as that's just the new price of things, and they're going to keep going with their days, and they're going to keep buying what they're buying. So like many of the other challenges that we faced in the past, everything that's been going on up until this point, if you're still watching this, that means that you're still dropshipping. That means that you have a high interest in dropshipping and you want to succeed. So you want to continue with that. So make sure that you stay resilient and that you adapt. That's always the most important thing. At the end of the day, this is just another hurdle that we're going to have to get over. And who knows, maybe a month or two from now, we'll be looking back thinking, why did we even freak out about this? So if you found this video helpful, if you found it informational at all, please make sure you hit that subscribe button so that way you stay tuned and you stay updated with everything that's going on with the new tariffs and really anything that's going on in the dropshipping and e-commerce world. Make sure you smash that like button, hit that subscribe button, and ring that little bell notification so you don't miss out on any future videos. Let me know what your thoughts are on the new tariffs down in the comments below. I would love to hear what you're going to be doing to prepare. Huge thank you once again to everyone for watching. My name is Mario with AutoDS, and I'll catch you all next time.